I love Christmas. Imagine with me for a moment. You are 12 years old, bearing not a modicum of maturity, and like a kid in a candy store, you shake your hardworking, tired parents awake and then your siblings and rush downstairs ahead of them all. Dozens of presents line the bottom of the bright Christmas tree with a beautiful glow of red and green light that only reminds you of heavenly memories. And you appreciate this pure moment of anticipation and love between you and your folks, who may now or may have always been long gone, and you remember your eyes lit up with joy while Christmas music matched your energy and your heart and dreams aligned with those you loved as you gave and received on the floor by the Christmas tree and the crackling fire. You grab your first present along with those you love, then laugh and sing while everybody tears away the wrapping paper and appreciates their gift and the thought that made this moment possible, and you peel back each corner and rip away the pieces one by one, and you have received Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. That's what it was like this year, with yet another year of the shittiest games ever released. The gaming industry is in the dumps and there is only one good reason for it. Unlike yesteryear when gaming companies had no fucking idea what they were doing every time they designed a new title, now they have the time and experience, so the truth behind the terrible quality of this year's games is pure greed. The economy is in the dumps not only here in America but also in the entire world, and politics are gross and disgusting and cause people to squeeze the gaming industry dry. After a lot of work and research, I found 10 games and made a list, but make no mistake, these are some of the worst games in recent memory. There are more Star Wars games than movies and stupid, useless Disney Plus shows, and I didn't enjoy most of the recent games, and definitely not fucking Outlaws. This is one of the worst dumpster fire cash grabs by limp dick devs that we already knew were awful that I've seen in a long time. And now that I've played a little and certainly not completed this game, I can officially say that the only good Star Wars games are LEGO. Once upon a time, a little company by the name of Rare, a company nobody has ever heard of before, had an idea. A very strange idea. Take one of the most disturbing and tedious lifestyles ever lived and make it into a lighthearted and fun game. Now, since Disney had already figured out how to make pirates entertaining, this fortunate company succeeded, and Sea of Thieves was born a pretty good game. But every masterpiece has its cheap copy, and the world's first quadruple A game has been released, Skull and Bones, and their way of making piracy fun is by taking all of the fun out of piracy. Thanks Ubisoft for dropping the ball again. Finally getting to at the very least playable games. Tekken 8 is a long-awaited letdown, but its intricate gameplay and fighting mechanics are refreshing and make for a decent fighting game that can be enjoyable especially with friends. Silent Hill 2 is much more long-awaited, and the anticipation kept all players on the edge of their seat up until the point when it is released, and it's just fine. There is nothing outright disappointing about this remake of Silent Hill 2, but at the same time, there is nothing to write home about, which is why it will not take a higher place on this list. It's scary, it's immersive, it's graphically pleasing with its beautiful visuals and fitting aesthetic. I know it sounds un-American, but I've never really been a big fan of football. Don't get me wrong, I love sipping an ice-cold Miller and cheering on my favorite team with my family and friends, but I don't get very worked up over brackets and teams and every little thing. It's the same way with football video games. My earliest memories are playing Madden 16 on my Xbox 360 and Tecmo Bowl on the NES with my dad and always losing. We had a lot of fun with college football and a little when playing with buddies, but all in all, not the greatest football game of all time, and again, football isn't even my forte anyway. Halfway through the list, we found my place for the yearly COD. Black Ops 6 is another one of the worst CODs ever made, and although it has its moments, it just makes me progressively more disappointed with the state of the Call of Duty trilogy. Before we continue on the list, I would like to make an honorable mention. Since we no longer have Uncharted games, we need something to fill the void, and despite the fact that absolutely nothing could be anywhere near the quality of Uncharted, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a silly name for a silly but enjoyable game that would have made it on my list if it weren't released so late in the year. I don't think there's anything bad I can say about content warning. It isn't mind-blowing, but it's incredibly funny and one of the best silly online games released in recent memory. The moments with friends and scary monsters that made me laugh until my stomach hurt and my heart glow warms my body and makes for some great content on my channel. I love this game. Astro Bot is impressive, intricate, and exhilarating. The gameplay is fresh, exciting, and very intuitive, and I appreciate very action-packed platformers like this, which makes this game even better when it is one of very few games recently released of this stature. Animal Well is the most detailed game on this list. It portrays many deep messages through its beautiful visuals and enjoyable gameplay. It was fun watching the game come to life and watch Donkey fuel the journey, and now that it's out, I am not disappointed in the slightest. My number one game of 2024 is Still Wakes the Deep. The freaky roller coaster ride paired with its beautifully terrifying graphics and horrifying story spawned from a mind-bending setting and plot. My least favorite genre of games, movies, or anything alike is horror. So for a game to be the top of my year takes a lot of quality gameplay, and it delivered. There is not much more I can say without spoiling, so just play this fucking game, and thanks for another year, everyone. But every masterpiece has its cheap coffee. What the fuck?